Paraguay, massive game for them today. Massive game. What can they do in the city of Philadelphia? This seems like it's going to be a one-hour football today. Paraguay looking at the team that's just going to just sit very deep in their defensive third. What will they do? Yeah, look how deep they are right now. Look how deep. The closest player to the halfway line is Miguel the Almiron and Incisio. Those two players are the closest to the halfway line. Imagine when they break away. Yeah, how far they're going to have to run to get into the half of the French team. I'm not sure if this tactic going to work from Gustavo Alfaro, the Paraguayan coach. I'm not sure if it's going to work. They're just sitting too deep. Again, they have no choice, but they're going to have to mix it up. They're going to have to play with a lot of flexibility. And if you ask me, they're going to have to play with a lot of flexibility, how deep, narrow, why they're going to play. Yeah, look at Kylian Mbappe already. He's getting into his groove. Yeah, he's getting into his groove, man. Miguel Almiron already, center stage in this game. Already the center stage of defending deep. He tried to play out, he tried to break up, but when you look, he's all the way deep in his defensive third, and by a look, it is 3, 4, French players, is around him. So it's going to be very difficult of Enciso and Miguel Almiron to get anything out of this game attacking wise. But we know how good this Paraguayan team can be, defensively. But today is just going to be a different kettle of fish. Yeah, this is going to be a different type of a game. It's not going to be the ordinary game as like they played the other day in the round of 32 against the Germans. This France team is very much a dominant team in both sides of the box, even in the midfield. And you look at all the 11 outfield players, for Paraguay inside of their half. There's only one player not in the Paraguayan half at this moment, and it is, Mayagan, the goalkeeper of France. So we have literally 21 players inside of the half of the Paraguayan team. That's crazy. This Paraguayan team sits just around 18 yards out away from their goal, and farthest man away from the defensive line is like 15 yards away. So he's probably roughly around 15, 20 yards away from the halfway line. Saliba, Upamecano is like 45 yards out from the penalty area box from this Paraguayan team. So, it's they're dropping deeper and deeper. They are dropping deeper and deeper. I mean, I would love to see how much this team going to break up, because it's going to take a lot of energy, to constantly defending, constantly moving around. And then, when you run for 5, 7 minutes without the ball, and then that ball break, and then you get that ball in the transition mode. Do you have enough strength? Do you have enough strength to beat these players? Saliba and the Digne and these players at the back, with energy and pace. So I just seen, man, France don't have to rush this game because the game is already in their court of having the possession. The Paraguayan team is burning out a lot of energy outside of in their legs. So it's a difficult job, man. It's a difficult job. Very difficult job. This game seems like it is a training session. Yeah, attackers versus defenders. And the coach put all the attackers one side and put all the defensive players, like the wing backs, the two center halves, probably like the defensive midfielders, and from like maybe the number 8 and also the number 10 role, will be an attacking side. But this game just going to be like attacking versus defenders. This game is David versus Goliath. You can see, NCC, losing out the ball as well over the right hand side, swarmed by a bunch of French players. Ooh. Didier Deschamps looking to trying to win his second trophy, as the world champion as well. So only real trophy that they won in 2018 in Russia, 2 years after that disaster in Paris after losing that final in the nation in the Euros versus Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo and Coles. That's a very bad challenge from Kone. Very bad. It's a set piece moment. It's just a breathing room for for these Paraguayan players. Just a breathing room. To get the set piece, get the ball up in the half of the French team as well. Get the ball into the box. It's crazy, I'm going to look at the stats by the end of the game to see how many touches this Paraguayan team will get. Wow, nasty challenge there, and Olise, but the referee said plays on, get up. But it's crazy. I'm really going to see how much touches this Paraguayan team will have in the French box. Really want to see the stats, after the final whistle, because I know there will be a lot of record that will be smashed. On the negative side of the least touches in the opposition of the least passes, probably you want to say least amount of chance that create the lowest XG. I think there will be some massive record that the Paraguayan team will shatter if they don't do something to change and improve and try to find ways of how they can attack or they can create and ask a bit of a question from this French backline as well. So we've seen Kone in in the middle of the pitch for France, lining up with Rabiot in the midfield as well. Tushmani is on the bench at this moment. Picked up a yellow card in the Norway game, assist as well in that game as well. Played 90 minutes in the last game in the run of 32, beating Sweden 3-0. I think it was a magnificent performance from the French team. Didn't really hit gear, second gear, third gear. I just think they were just cruising in first gear in that game as well. So France is on the charge again, coming up against a very deep, low line Paraguayan team who believe that this is the best way possible to break down and frustrate this France team, which, if this masterpiece work, my goodness gracious, this will be a fantastic result. But the game is not done. Just started. We just reached what, quarter of the game so far in a 15 minutes gone. 20%, 72% for France. 20% already for this Paraguayan team. Very low stats in the first 15 minutes. Very low. Wow, it's going to be a long day. Long day, for Paraguay. Long day. Very long day. Mhm. That's a foul, ref. Very bad challenge. Very bad challenge. And who's that down? Number 4, it was a very bad challenge from Barcola. Yeah, very bad challenge. He was late all over that one. Tried to pull it out, but I guess it was a little bit too late. and he catch the Paraguayan player on his right ankle. Bradley Barcola is in the book. The man that's linked heavily with Liverpool. Tomorrow will be that day. Yeah, tomorrow will be that day. This set piece has been very poor, from Paraguay. It's been very poor. This is the type of opportunity that you want, to see these Paraguayan players, take to the advantage as well. Pass completion rate, you know, France 155, and also Paraguay 25. It's just overwhelmed. It is so overwhelmed in the stats department already. You want to look at some of the stats at this moment is just ridiculous. 19 ball possession, for Paraguay, 81 for France. Only one shot towards goal so far. France have, 5 touches in the box of the opposition team. Zero for Paraguay. No real big chance. Great. Accurate pass. 170 for France. My goodness grace. It's just going to get worse from here. The stats corner are going to be very ugly. The only thing the Paraguayan team might win is the defensive stats. The keeper, the clearance, block, interception, and also tackles. That might be the only little thing, or they win some of the duels. Yeah, they're going to dominate in this section, but talking about the attacking side, the shots and stuff like that, chance creation, shots on and off target, they're just going to be racking up the numbers in that department. But this doesn't win a game. You have to go out there and win. Yeah, you're going to have to go out there and also score. Yeah, if you can't get goals in this game where you're going to dominate at least 80% of the game, this will tell me a lot about the opposition team of how much they fail, to break down a very low block stubborn team, defending a very, low choke line defensive side of the game from this Paraguayan team. But hydration break. Let's see what Alfaro Gustavo, and his team will do in the post hydration break as well. Will he give this team a bit of a freedom of going forward, try to create something, because I'm not sure if they can do this for the entire 120 minutes. It's going to be a difficult job. Yeah, it's already difficult, to play at this World Cup under different circumstances, and to let your team defend for 120. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Remember, these players played 120 minutes plus a nerve wracking penalty shootout, which would have takes a lot out of them mentally and physically as well. So I'm not sure if they have the energy and the fitness level, to go to another 120. I'll be very surprised. But can they drag this game as long as possible? Even if they get scored and, keep it at, you want to say 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, to give yourself a bit of a momentum going into the last phase of the second half, try to close out the game, where you give yourself something that you only need one goal, and a goal can come from anything. And it's Almiron getting on his bicycle down that right hand side for Paraguay. Can he pick out someone? No. And it was a wasteful pass in the middle of the pitch, but Paraguay retrieve it, and they're getting forward now. Oh, and it's a black. Yeah, 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 yeah. That was a very wasteful chance, wasteful shot from Gomez. But this is the time that you want them to make the right decisions. You need to shoot or you need to pass. You need to dribble. What will be the decisions going forward? But positive. Let's say that positive for the Paraguayan team post hydration. Positive, man. I mean, you ask them, will this game be 0-0 coming to the first 30 minutes? Lots of people will say no, because they know how much this French team can really strangle any team, especially a team like Paraguay that will just sit very deep into that low grade of defending. So 30 minutes around in Philadelphia. Why it Me no know how long them can grind this one out for. To be honest, I really don't know how long they can grind this out. I have no hope that this Paraguayan team can do this for the entire 120 minutes because they're not really going to show any real great signs of score, goals or create clear cut opportunities. It's not going to be any real signs of that. So just curious, with a lot of curiosity of how many chances they can create. Can they create one big opportunity in the game and try to score from that? Which it might not even be enough because you might score a goal and then some part of you psychologically it will really tail off, at some point of knowing that you score, you're flying on confidence, a bit of a room, will be exposed as well behind. So the ball is in France court. The ball is in France court to really to get whatever they really need to get. We saw what happened yesterday as well with Cape Verde or Cabo Verde. It's humid and it's in Paraguay favor. Let's see. Let's see. It's a long game though. Will be a long game. It's like watching training session and the coach putting out defensive versus attackers. Let's see. Very interested one. Very, very, very interested. Ooh, it's, it's too much. It's too much, man. One player that's not going to get past Saliba and open a corner. I mean, it's going to take a collective body of work to get past some of these players in the backline for France. The set piece will have to be on point today, including long shows. But we are heading to the last 15 minutes of the first half. Positive sign for this Paraguayan team. Positive, yeah, positive sign. So another it's a foul. Yeah, another set piece coming up. Ensucio versus William Saliba. And that's clearly, a foul from the French player. Clearly, but what can this Paraguay team do? That's the big question. What can they do? Can they pick out someone in the box? It's too far to shoot. It's too much of a distance, to get this ball on target with pace and dip and whip and everything. Come on, you cannot allow the ball to be float like that and allow Mayagan to come out and grab it. It's- It's all getting boiled over right now. Just some a push, and Mbappe. But this is what the Paraguayan want. Yeah, this is what they really want. They want to go into a fight. They want to go into a brawl. They want to disrupt the game. They want to frustrate you. They want the game to be stop, pause, stop, play, pause. That's all they want in the game. They don't want a pretty show at this moment. They're trying to keep it dirty as possible. Very much dirty. Wow. What a clearance. And it was a just Conde shot and target, but very much comfortable for the keeper to deal with. And a player is down at this moment. Who is it? .36 into the first half. Wow. 0-0. Counting down the clock as it ticks. How long can this Paraguayan team stand up to the French boys? The French team is a very strong, powerful, can be a lot robust as well. So better first touch than that in CCU. Really yet to see, a ball play through the channels from either side, to be honest. Guy run the ball outside. Mamma mia. Oh, that's a wicked deflection. That's a wicked, wicked deflection, man. I like that off the ball challenge from the Paraguayan players on Kylian Mbappe. I like that. As if he didn't get stopped right there, he easily could be, the first goal because he was free going into what 10 yards away from the box. He was a lot freer to give the ball. And you give him chances like those, easily could put the ball in the back of the net. Easily. Or it's a physical rugby. Mbappe have nothing to do with these Paraguayan players, as he's not looking at no handshake, nothing. Wow. He knows what he's up against. He's no fool. He know what he's up against. But you expect the French team, to come out in the second half and to play a lot more better. You expect them to come and play a little bit more direct, a little bit more quicker, finding the passes. No real signs of the Paraguayan players, breaking down mentally or physically any discomfort as yet, as it would be probably a bit too early for that. Maybe you're talking about the 60th, 70th minute when those legs start to get, heavier, heavier, and heavier. Know that goes. It's like you cannot run anymore. Defending for their life in this game. Yeah, Paraguay is defending for their life in this game. Defending the lights right out. Look, I'm gonna say this from now. If they manage to get this game, probably the last, they manage to go into this game into the last 30 and still not concede a goal, then we are up for a very good game. Yeah, if they go into this game and what the last 30, 25 minutes and not concede, still have big ties in the game to see if we can win it. Oh, that's a very good effort in the first time really seeing this Paraguayan team trying to break out and to hit the midfield runner into the number 9 position as well. But the ball was overhit. Ball was definitely overhit from the Paraguayan defender. As this 45 minutes just came right at our doorstep and just flew past. You know, this happened in a quick succession rate of the first half and come to an end. Because of maybe no goals and stuff like that. But even me, sitting right here, getting a little bit agitated of game just, it's not, I want to say boring, but you just looking at a one side game of only France really getting the attacking side going. This is just crazy, man. They believe in their tactics. They believe in what they did in the last Afghan tournament, where not African tournament. My apology on that. Used to seeing these African teams, in the World Cup. My apology on that. But yeah, 70 minutes is my breaking point. If there's still 0-0, then there is a massive, massive game ahead of us. And it's crazy. You look at this coach in Costa Rica in the Copa America, look very much of an offensive team, but it's like getting this new managerial role in Carnival and what it would have to take for a manager, to go in a difficult situation of where Paraguay was, and to help them to beef up their defensive record as well, improve. on and off the pitch, improve defensively. You never know. You just never know. And it is Paraguay on the break. And it is a very poor challenge pass. It's a very poor pass. And I think they were trying to look for Enciso. That was the moment. And when you get moment like that, man, you have to make the right decisions. And I think the right decision was to run a bit more towards the French back line. As you know, Upamecano and William Saliba, they are no bug. They are very quick. They're not slow. They're not slow. They're very good on their toes, ready to sprint. Smelling danger as well, cleaning up the danger before it even started. And 3 minutes in, we're looking at the Paraguayan goalkeeper booting this one all the way up the pitch. He's what, 6'5", 6'6". A huge, huge frame in between the sticks for Paraguay. You wondering at some given point, his job will get a lot more tougher. Tough times ahead for this Paraguayan team. And they break in a well and Enciso. What can he do? And he's getting the best of Upamecano and he's trying to win. Did he won? No. Yes. And he won the throwing for France, Upamecano. Susisio was, let me see. Yes. That's the right decision. That is the right decision. I think it is France throwing as well. Last touch came off in Susio. Strasbourg, man. Really yet to see, crazy how we are heading to the first 45 minutes and Olise has not managed to really get on the ball and to create his magics. But we know that type of a magic can happen at any given time. Are you wondering if the team is sitting a little bit too low, for him to really create as well? Looking into the midfield of the French team, Kone and Rabiot in the middle of the pitch. Not so highly of a creative player, but both players can really find the back of the net. Kylian Mbappe look a bit very frustrated. That definitely watched that Argentina versus Cabo Verde yesterday as well, of looking at how very good this Cabo Verde team played against Argentina. So just minutes away from the first half, and I think the first half is coming up right on us at this moment. Didier Deschamps look a bit, I want to say, a bit concerned. Yeah, I'm looking a bit concerned of what the hell happened. How we cannot score on such a team that is defending deep. But the art of defense is the players and the defensive line. If you can get that right, you will turn around a lot of games. Yeah. And it is the end of the first half, people. It is the end of the first half. I will check back in a jiffy. Yeah. So as my back with Miguel Almiron attack, and it is what is that? A corner kick? Boy. Still not put no hopes on the Paraguayan team. Still no banks of hopes for them. Them want hope, them better go link assassin. Still no hopes for them. Anytime it reaches 70, 75th minute, then we can say, yeah, there's possibility of them bringing this French team into an extra 2 half of 50 minutes. Ooh, very good claim. Very good punch from Mayagan. And it is another opportunity to get that ball back into the box, coming in through with a long sailing throw into the box. And it is Alonso, the left back, coming up as well. Paraguayan fans them looking much intriguing, looking at enjoying a little bit of moment of their team into that one right into Mayagan, and it's a very good hit, and that's a very good pass from Mayagan. What a recover defending. What a very good recovery defending. What the hell is happening? Is that Casares with that recovery run? What? Nah, but that pass from Mayagan, that pass was a magnificent pass. That remind me of Edison back in his prime at Manchester City. And if that would have scored, it would have been a disallowed goal because the hand of Kylian Mbappe. But it was a magnificent recovery defending from Caceres, and the French team almost caught the Paraguayan team out because of protesting of a handball. But and it is Dembele went down on the right foot of the goalkeeper. He will try to burn as much time as he can at this moment. Get this game down to into the wire. Run enough minutes off the clock. And it is the goalkeeper, the 6'7" man. Well, I thought this game was going to be a dragged out game, boring game, high scoring game on one side, but it leaves us here, as a neutral watching very much interested one. Oh, very good save. My goodness. What a save from Gil, the man from San Lorenzo. What a save. And the linesman did. The French team is trying to play a quick What, I thought that was a deflected shot, but no, it slightly sliced off the boot of Coney. That one was ending up into the top pigeon. But here we go again. The 9 corner for France, only one for Paraguay, and it was a very good clearance as well. Paraguay is on the charge, looking to, yeah, that one is out. Yeah, this is the thing now. This is the thing now. You're looking at these French players. Their demeanor. You could see a bit of frustrated. You could see that they're rushing to take the corner kicks, set piece. They're rushing. They're trying their best of not allowing this Paraguayan team to organize and to go back into their defensive shape. But again, there's another thing that I realized in the first 10 minutes of the second half where Paraguayan players seems to be grown into the game as the minutes goes by. They're growing into the game. They say that they're getting a little bit more confident. You could see that, with them, one or two players running out of possession, try to close down inside of the defensive third. But at least you're seeing them trying to be proactive. At least they're trying to. And that's a slight little positive. And that's a goalkeeper challenge claim as well. Anything around the 6-yard box with this goalkeeper 6'11", he will be taking this one all day long. But the Paraguayan, fans can say, hey, look, here we go. We found the next Chilavert, not being acrobatic of saving the shots, but a very good goalkeeper. And I think, yes, I think the stream went down a while ago, but as I was saying, with this, Paraguayan goalkeeper, to be honest, yeah, they found them, themselves a very good goalkeeper. That's a very good challenge, very good tackle. You could see the emotions on Casares' face as he's blocking another attacking threat as well. From look at how strong this player is. William Saliba is so strong on the ball. But as I was saying, Paraguay found himself a very good goalkeeper at this moment. And I think that sooner or later, this goalkeeper, Hill, he will find himself. Is either he's going to be in South America, is either he's going to be, in Europe, but with his height and his flexibility and how dominant he can be in the air, how much he's very good. I've come in for set piece as well, ball at any as you slightly overhit any set piece, whether it's a throw in, free kick, corner kick, he's going to come out and claims it. He's very dominant in the air as well for someone that, 6'6", it's very tall. It's a huge goalkeeper. So I just think with him and his shot value, he's at 6 at this moment, 4.9 million at his transfer value. You will see him somewhere around in South America or in Europe playing for one of those top clubs in South America, or find himself playing for a very decent team in Europe. You get what I'm saying? And you could see at this moment where even the Paraguayan fans, they look much delightful now than in that first half. But that first half was bad. It was terrible. The attacking threats, it was nowhere close to any fluidity of hitting the target, getting into the opposition box, stretching the French backline. But you can see this half, 15 minutes gone already into the second half, and they are stretching the backline. Yes, there might not be too much end product or any productivity coming from the threats that they create, but at least the attempts are there, and that's the most important thing, and that will give them a little bit of a sign of things are going into the right direction. And the more they get chance to attack, that will give them a little bit of time of remove the shackles mentally of you're not defending, you're burning too much energy. Yeah, but it's stubborn, man. We saw what happened yesterday. In Miami, Cape Verde. We saw what happened. It was a very interesting game, high quality game. From the best team in the world. The ranked number one team in the world versus 6 to 7. So you're looking at this Paraguayan team as one of the best defensive team in CONMEBOL qualification round. So they can do things like this. Yeah, they can do things like this. They know how to shut out teams. They know how to grind out results. But there's no teams in CONMEBOL that's equipped like this French team, where from the start to the 11, even down to the goalkeeper, you can hit a very good pass. Look at the pass that he gave Mbappe. So I just think with such a deep squad like France, it will take even 2x, 3x times more than what they usually do, in their regional tournaments. But you never say never. But I'm still not giving them any chance. As I said, I'm waiting for the 70th, 75th minute to give them a possible chance of bringing this game to the last 2 hours of 15 into extra time, which is very long from here. We're looking at around probably 30 plus minutes, including extra time or added time, before the game finish. But this is the referee. If you're not going to give away a free kick, you have to give him a yellow card, because that's diving. If you think that's not a foul, then where is the card? Well, the game is on again. Look, yesterday we saw Lionel Messi scoring the first goal. Yeah, we saw Lionel Messi score. Ref, I think that's a foul. I think that was a foul on Desiree Due. I think that was a foul. I think he got that one wrong. Strongly think he got that one wrong. But favor into the Paraguayan eyes of not giving away such a cheap free kick right there. But we know how good these players are, kicking free kicks, especially with this new ball. But yeah, Desiree, do it. So Dewey came on for Bradley Barcola, like for like, club for club. Saw that many times at the club level, playing for Paris Saint Germain. But yeah, I remember what I was saying now. So, so yesterday we see that the talisman for Argentina getting that opening goal, against Cape Verde. Get up. That's not a foul. Saliba is so quick. You see, that's the thing. That's the thing. What I'm saying, like they're defending so deep, and it's going to take a huge task to use their pace to get around these. Ooh, that seems like it's a penalty for me. Second time in the space of a minute, I'm saying no penalty, but they're checking it. This will be so devastated. This will be so devastated on Paraguay. Oh my God, and they're going to check. I think the first one, which was outside of the box, they couldn't review. But looking at this one now, where, wow. Yeah, I think there's no let off the hook for Paraguay. There's no let off the hook for them to not to. And it's a very poor challenge from Gomez. Very poor challenge from Gomez. They're not going to get let off this hook. It's going to be a penalty. No, it's going to be the goalkeeper in between the stick. Orlando Gill. I think this is a pen. I think this is a pen. This is a pen. Yeah, bad challenge from Gomez. Bad challenge, and it happened twice in the space of a minute. And Desiree Dewey. Yeah, I think bad challenge. Very difficult. That wasn't needed. That wasn't needed right there as well. That wasn't needed. Yeah, it's very bad, man. So unlucky. So unlucky. These Paraguayan players are doing anything what it takes to even to make a little mark in that 12 spot yards out. Jaja. That's crazy. Massive. Well needed goal. Well needed goal. You know, the pressure. The pressure is off. And Kylian Mbappe got that goal that I was talking about to release the pressure. Messi did it yesterday. I scored that first goal of the game. Wow. Well, I was saying if it's 0-0 in the 70th minute, there's a possibility this team can bring it to extra 30 minutes to half of 15. We at that point and it's 1-0. Yes, it is 1-0 in the game. 20 minutes plus added time. What will be the end product? What will be the end product? What will be the game changing tactics for Gustavo Alfaro? CCO came off a few minutes back. Miguel Almiron is off, Gomez is off. So you're looking at some of the most dangerous players currently off the pitch. And you're looking at what can this Paraguayan team shovel up into the attacking third? What can they do? How can they really use the pickaxe stick to create some mess, to create some damage, dig some deep holes into the French defensive third, create asking 19 FIFA World Cup goals in 19 games. Wow, astonishing. What astonishing record. Saw yesterday as well, where Cristiano Ronaldo. The other day when he played, Cristiano Ronaldo scored his first knockout round game goal. And you're looking at Kylian Mbappe, where it will be roughly around what half of his World Cup goals are in the knockout round. Astonishing, man. Different Mbappe in the Le Bleu shirt rather than playing in the all whites of Hala Madrid in a Blanco. Different Kylian Mbappe. Attitude, goal scoring machine, leadership, responsibility. Everything is just so different about this player wearing the Le Bleu shirt at this moment for his national team. Looking at him playing at the international level, arguably probably the best at this moment, in his bracket of, the Arlan, the Vinicius, that little clique in the mid and early 20s. But the game is not over until the fat lady sing. Paraguay, just need to create one more, not one more, but they just need to create that opportunity for themselves. I don't think they created really any big moments to say one more, but let's see if they can create that chance that will give them a opportunity to put the ball in the back of net. And this is the last. This is the last team talk for Gustavo Alfaro. In this game, and it could be easily the last team talk as well of his team. During a World Cup game, it could easily be their last time we've seen this Paraguayan team into the World Cup, and you could see how much more of an easier camp. Deschamps speaking, not much with the tactical board, but more of being a lot more vocal. It's more of, continue what they're doing. We found the goal. They're going to have to come out and, play some attacking football, and that will play in the hands of us. And this is, I would like to see, even Turkey, Ryan Turkey. I'd like to see Ryan Ryan Turkey, in the game. This will be his type of a game as well, where to unlock something from a tight defensive line. And I was wondering, how long does it going to take? And you could see that even that baby got no shirt on. That's how hot it is at this moment. Where I'm at, on the south side, it is 105 degree right down the south line coast. So it's very hot. Not sure how much of a is the temperature right now in northeast in Philadelphia, but it is a warm day in America. Just let's say that. Paraguayan players are starting to be a little bit nasty on the pitch. They're starting to be a little bit more aggressive, clipping the ankles and the toenails of the French players. Yeah, I think this game really can do with Ryan Turkey. I think Dembele can get off the pitch, probably put Olisa wide out on that wide right. Have Turkey roaming in the middle of the park, creating and unlocking, with his old school futsal style of playing, street football. Killian, come on, don't no matter with the dramatic football. Come on, man. So silly. So the two big man up front right now, 7-7. Oof, very good from the Paraguayan team. But yeah, I think anywhere from here, Paraguay should be happy. Anywhere from here, beating the world champion of 2014. We're in group with the likes of Australia, Turkey, and the US, getting out of that group after the first group game in Group D, where they got spanked and demolished versus the US men's national team. Yeah, they really came back, and from there they went on to be unbeaten, one and drew. You will say, drew that game versus Germany, but one and PK. So they're much punching above their weight at this moment. Beating Germany, is something that they will celebrate all day long, and I think Gustavo Alfaro will be praised as a Paraguayan coach, to be honest, because the work that he have done and the system that he have implement around these players to get them to this level to compete in a tough group where not many people had them to be one of the best, team in the group stage. You're looking at Turkey coming into the World Cup as what arguably, there's most superstar team in years. US, the host as well. So you're looking at, even looking at Australia, where Australia getting out of World Cup group stage in Qatar, got beaten in the run of what 16 versus Argentina. So you're thinking that it was a very tough group for Paraguay, even with their defensive record at home in regional tournament. It'll be a tough group, and to them to get out of that group, yeah, they finish on 4 points giant with Australia, and for them to get out and also beating Germany in penalty, played 120 minutes versus Germany, you could see as well that is something to celebrate as well. Scoring a goal, concede, and there goes, the rest is history. Beating Germany on a remarkable penalty shootout. So with them now in the run of 16, this should be triumph. This should be triumph, for this Paraguayan team. Anywhere from here, I think this is a bonus. And I think it would have probably be a little bit of a devastated, in the country of not making it out of the group stage, especially when you have, the best of 8 from the third spot will advance. They will always have that little one eye on the knockout run, and then anything can happen from there. Oh, wow. The game is getting out of hand. This game is kind of getting out of hand. Ooh. Nasty challenge there from Coney. Very nasty. Very hard. Casares is center stage of everything in this game. I think he's probably, Paraguay probably best player in on the pitch so far. If you ask me, he's everywhere. He's in the challenge. He's mapping up and cleaning up at the back when he needs to do, recovering well. He's challenging for the balls. In the attacking third. So he's everywhere, man. He's everywhere on the pitch, winning headers, winning challenge, winning era duels, winning ground duels. Sometimes being a lot physical as well. In the referee face. He's everywhere, man. I love that about South American players. They take that pride and passion with them and walk with anywhere they're going, in any game. Come on, referee. That's a foul. That's a foul on Kone. No, you're going to see the mature side of this French team. Yeah. No one to see the mature side of them, be positive, close out the game. How much, you can get a next goal, kill the game off, say goodbye to Paraguay, move on to the next round, round of 8, quarterfinal versus the Moroccan team, get the players off the pitch, not receiving any more yellow card, supposed to be any probably a player that get the second yellow. Kone is on a yellow card as well. So I think there's a few changes can make, from Didier Deschamps just to close out the game, take some players off, close out the game, control the tempo, keep possession of the ball, have this Paraguayan team chasing the game even more and more. We're seeing Ryan Cheek is coming on for Usman Dembele as well. And this is much joy as well to see, a player like Usman Dembele who have gone through so many injury woes and issues at FC Barcelona, and now you're looking at Usman Dembele starting games week in week out in the Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain, in the French league. Now you're seeing him starting week in week out in the World Cup, winning the Ballon d'Or, playing minutes beyond the 75th minute mark as well. So you see positive sign, for the player. We know the quality is there for Usman, but it's whether or not he can stay fit. And once he stay fit, you will get the best out of him as well. So Turkey is on the pitch. Another demand for the Paraguayan team to worry about him. Olise is making some passes together. Two players that can find a pass out of nowhere. As you see, France is taking as much time, on the ball, not really rushing to attack, but pulling out these Paraguayan players out of their deep line blocks, doing their best as possible to keep the ball and to close out the game. This is a time where you don't allow the team to get any respite in the attacking third, where they can cause anything, any chaos, no havoc, nothing. And the Paraguayan team got a throw-in into the half of the French team, looking for a very long throw in the box as well. So let's see how that one plays out. This is what they want. Whoa, 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 whoa. Very good shot from Alonso from the left back. That was a chance. That was a chance, that was a chance of try to take the ball down, try to do something a bit more productive. Probably look around a little bit more quicker and to see what's around. Game is so physical. Yeah, 30% ball position, 60 for France. I want to see something. Want to see what is the second half stats. 27 possession for Paraguay, 73 for France. Total shots, you could see there was none for the Paraguayan team, and they got two shots, but zero on target. Zero on target. But touches in the box, you could see that the touches in the box wasn't there. Now they have a few touches in the box in the second half as well. The accurate passes went up. They got one corner kick as well in the second half. Yeah, so I just think they're a much better team. It's slightly short. The XG, it's slightly short around the statistics corner as well about how much the Paraguayan team played a little bit better in the second half. And it's Killian. Wow. There should be maybe one more threat from this Paraguayan team, one more late flourish, because this French team is so strong defensively. With Upamecano and William Saliba at the back, it's so strong. You have Konate, you have Lucas Hernandez, you have Lacroix, Malo Gusto, players that can play in a CB role. Ooh, that was the opportunity. That was the opportunity. Who was that? Mauricio, man that scored on the US team. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's their first shot on target as well in the second half. No, no foul. The Paraguay team is fighting, man. They're fighting until the fat lady sing. No one is in the middle of the pitch, and here goes Kylian Mbappe and Olise, and he release. Yeah, RR is a clock management. I think the Paraguayan team have done what they can do. Yeah, I think this is playing against a tough French team. They're always going to have a lot of limitations, but this was their limit. This was their limit. As a team, this was their limit. Versus France. I don't think there was any real greater impression, coming from them. To be honest, they weren't going to get a lot of chances, moments in the game. Ooh, what a challenge! What a challenge from the Paraguayan player! My goodness, yo, these guys are these guys are bringing some crunching challenge in this game. This game is so physical. This game is so physical. Yeah, it's a tough game. The man, the man slapped the sprat in him face. Make the sprat know, so go back in your fresh water or your sea water. Go back in your own little world. Yeah, but I really enjoy. I never know how I would enjoy this game that much. You know, to be honest. I think Paraguay have made it competitive, but I think Paraguay have done enough. Try to bring this game to a competitive level where, oh, very good from Lucas Dini. Yeah, I like what I've seen. You know, to be honest, they have make it tough as possible on the French team. I think they have probably put a lot of dent in the squad, you know, for the Moroccans because there's a lot of bruise players will be coming off of this pitch right now from the France team. To be honest, head lick, clipping the ankles. Oh, very good save from Gill. Oh, very good save, double save from Orlando Gill. I tell you, man, this guy is going somewhere. Maybe this is his last season in Argentina football. And this is the last moment left back in the game. All he says getting out of character right here, getting a picked up a silly yellow card. Yeah, that's a very good shot. Shot from Killian, and it's a very good right. What that is right hand as well. Very good right hand stop from the 6'6" man. But it's not finished. It's not finished. Paraguay have made this game a lot more interesting than I thought. Oh, miss kick, and it is a corner. One more opportunity. One more chance for the Paraguayan. One more chance. You could see the Paraguayan massive in the stadium as well, ready for this challenge. Yeah, not gonna lie, I really love this game. You know, they made this game as tough and competitive, challenging as well. I don't know, but the corner kicks in this game has been poor. The corner kicks has been poor because you know we know Mayagan and the Paraguayan goalkeeper, they are very tall. I think they dominate the box by coming out, you know, for set piece. You know, I think this is it. Yeah, at this moment, I think this is it right. Yeah, this moment where Paraguay is just clutching a straw and everything that they can hold on. I think this is it. Yeah, this is a very hard game on the legs of the French players. They didn't even thought this was going to be such a hard game, to be honest. I like the way Kylian Mbappe is having fun with the Paraguayan players, you know, and much of speaking Spanish as well, understand what the Paraguayan players saying, this is what football is all about: bantering, having fun, creating enemies on the pitch, and then be best amigos off the pitch. So this is what football is all about, man. Fun. Yeah, but it is just too late. I would probably take another 15 minutes more of this back and forth, competitive, being nasty, the physicality, and that is it. Yeah, man. It's a good game. It is a very good game. Very good game. But this is the joy and fun of South Americans. Yeah, they're going to make it be as much as entertain as possible. They're going to come out and fight. This is what they brings to the Europeans. They know they don't really have the qualities like the French team, but what they did, different various parts of the game, they dragged the French team, as close to their level of where they have to fight. They have to be nasty, and you could see a lot of the times, the French players lost a bit of an edge on the game, getting a little bit frustrated. But look, super sub, just minutes onto the pitch, Desiree Due came on, and you won, the penalty kick, and that was the decisive moment. And I think the Paraguayan players should be proud of themselves because they managed to get into the last eight. They managed to win a knockout round game versus the big boys, Germany as well. So I think it's a successful tournament if you ask me. They couldn't ask for a better tournament. Play the host nation, play Turkey, play Australia, a much improving footballing nation at this moment where you look at back-to-back World Cup, Australia is making it out of their group, coming second, doing good things as well in the World Cup. So I just think, it's a very good pathway for the Paraguayan team. And they have done what they could have done in this game, where it's just to try to take the edge away from France and take them off and throw them off their game and be, like brutal in the aerial duels, the ground duels, yeah, tackling a little bit dirty on the pitch, not allowing them to be their own self. But you can see at this moment, man, the Le Blue fans, they're having a moment, for themselves. And it is the repeat of the semi-final in Qatar, Morocco versus France. And I can say this, with we don't know what's going to happen, with Saibari. More likely he will miss the next game because of that little injury that he picked up in the early game, early to the versus Canada. Yeah. I think if France allow Morocco to bring them down to that level and just to compete on a lower scale and show them off of their quality games that they really can bring to the forefront, I think they will be in a lot more problem. I think they will have a lot more to ask and to play for in the game coming up against Morocco next week. I think Thursday, as well. So next week going to be a different game. Next week going to be a different game. But I just think that this game, man, it takes a lot. Yeah, it takes a lot out of these French players, in their legs to get through this game. To fight, to compete. It was actually like a war on the pitch. The South Americans, they are bad boys. Yeah, they are bad boys, especially Casares, man of the match for the Paraguayan team. And you could see, Ryan Cherky and Didier Deschamps is having a laugh. It's happy times at this moment for the group. Yeah, happy time. You could see they enjoy and they back in the round of eight into the quarterfinals. This wins means a lot. And you could see even last night, as well with Argentina, that win means a lot to them. Getting back into the final eight, getting closer and closer to the final four, that they can find themselves going into another World Cup final. But France, the pathway is there for them. Final. Let's see if they can go to 3 consecutive final. That's the plan. That's the plan for them. Yeah, that's the plan. And I think it's achievable with this group of players that they can pick from. But leave it like that. Much love and respect. RR, bless up yourself. Bless up everyone who's watching also on X and also the YouTube platforms. Much love and respect to you guys. See you guys tomorrow with that game. Yeah, that game tomorrow in the Azteca is going to be a killer game. But the Samba Warriors Joga Bonito tomorrow versus the Norwegian. Yes, the man named that do the roof. Let's see what Erling Haaland will bring to the party. I'm not sure if there will be a row tomorrow because these South Americans, they buy their tickets way in advance before the team get to that round. So, so you know already it will be a massive sea of yellow in that game tomorrow. And also not expect to see a lot of English fans in the stadium tomorrow because the Mexican, they bought those tickets already. Yeah, they bought those tickets already. Not sure if many English fans going to get their eyes on that game tomorrow live in action in the Estadio Azteca. Many of them, though, will be around the place in Mexico City, lining up in the pubs, making noise, watching that famous game like what their team did in Azteca in 1986. 2-1 to Mexico. I will see that game winning 2-1 on the Mexican side. I see Mexico 2-0 up and England team finding their way back into the game. But yeah, 2-1 for me, Mexico. I'm not seeing Mexico losing versus England tomorrow. I'll be surprised. But yeah, leave it at that. Much love and respect, broski, people every year out, we on X. Much love and respect.